Moving on to my next guy. So this guy, you probably know who I'm about to talk about here. 8 is Drew Allar. Drew Allar from Penn State. Penn State Nittany Lions, the other project. So this is the other scouts project who NFL scouts are going to fall in love with when they just see him in shorts and a t-shirt in the weight room because you're not on a football field. And my combine episode a month ago was about not overthinking quarterbacks after a good combine, and I was mainly talking about Drew Allar and Cade Klubnik. You could throw Garrett Nussmeier in there too because I know he's getting kind of blown up as well, and we'll get to him a little later. But Drew Allar is my QB8. I had to put him on here. I didn't want to put him on here. I was like a year ago at this time, I was like the biggest Drew Allar fan, and I wrote several articles about him possibly winning a Heisman, possibly being number one pick, possibly winning Penn State a national championship, and he failed. Just did not get it done, was not the answer. Didn't get any better in his time at Penn State, and I kind of just gave up. And until you win a big game and do it on the biggest stage, man, and not be the reason your team loses, I gotta remove you, or I gotta lower you on my board, I guess. So yeah, no, Penn State was my national championship pick. I really believed in Drew all the way up until the after the Oregon game, essentially. So the Oregon game when he threw the game sealing interception to Dylan Thieneman, stud safety. So, but there's a reason Drew Allar is still on people's draft boards. There's a reason he's still going to get drafted this year, and it's because he's the size of Big Ben Roethlisberger. He is 6'5". He is 228 pounds, and he's only 22 years old. He's the youngest prospect in this, youngest quarterback prospect in this draft class. He's the youngest, younger than Cade Klubnik by about 4 months, I think. Just turned 22, and his starting record is 26-9. He won a lot of games for Penn State. He led them to the playoff last season and led them to the semifinals. But he was also the reason they lost that game with a very costly, horrendous interception to Notre Dame in a ball that everyone was like, why did he throw that? He did that way too many times. Way too many times for my liking, for me to feel safe drafting him, for me to feel comfortable drafting him. But he looks the part. He looks the size of Big Ben. He throws the ball farthest. He probably throws the farthest deep ball in this draft class. Probably is the strongest arm. If we're just talking yards and just how far you can throw the ball, I would probably give that to Drew Allar. So he's going to get drafted probably way higher than a lot of people think or should get drafted. And I couldn't be the team to do it. Now, I've seen too much. Seen too many times that he collapsed and choked in big moments, and I just can't unsee it, I guess. Let's go over his basic passing stats here. So the raw passing totals are lower for him because he got the season-ending injury, and I think it was week 6. What were they, 3-3, and then he got that season-ending shoulder injury to Northwestern. So lower numbers here, but basic totals here: 64.8 completion percentage. Exactly 1,100 passing yards, averaging 6.9 yards per pass only, which is lowest on this list. Not great at all. 8 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Only 6 sacks, which he's very good at avoiding pressure. That's the one thing, most positive thing I'll say on Drew is he's actually really good with his legs and kind of like bumbling over for like 5 extra yards because he's huge and massive. Like, he can kind of escape the pocket and run for pick up like 5-6 yards, like pretty easily. So that I will give him in his favor. I do think that is an underrated weapon that a team could utilize and tap into, is his legs, because you saw him pick up a lot of first downs for Penn State when the passing offense was not working, which it rarely was over the past few seasons due to their receiving core just not being good. Drew had to use his legs more often than probably would have preferred, but he was good at picking up first downs, so that's what I'll give him that. So 135.7 passer rating, again, pretty low, 64.8 percentage. We'd like to see that higher. Drew had better stats last season and even the season prior. He's had some inconsistencies from an accuracy standpoint. I think that stems back to his footwork. If you look at his footwork, it's just terrible, just bad footwork that leads to those inaccuracies and errant throws. If he can get his footwork down and improve that, that could make all the difference in the world for him. But right now, it's just not great. If we dip into the advanced metrics here, the adjusted completion percentage is only 72.7, lower than you'd like. Again, I would have to look back at the 24 adjusted completion percentage, but like we said, under 75, not great. That is on par with his PFF grade, which was 72.4. Pretty mediocre this season. In the 6 games he played, he did not look good at all. I thought Allar looked worse this season than he did in his sophomore or junior season. I still have the opinion and the take that I think he should have came out last year in last year's draft, and he would have been the 2nd overall pick to the Cleveland Browns. I still believe that today in my core, that he would be the Browns quarterback right now going into next season if he would have just came out. And no one can tell me otherwise. I firmly believe he would have been the 2nd overall pick last year had he just come out, because I thought the tape Allar put in 2024 was way better than 2025 and did not do him any favors. And I would not draft the kid now. I've seen him blow too many games that I would not draft him, but some team is going to fall in love with him and some team is still going to draft him. So PFN score, Pro Football Network score, 78.7. QBR here. QBR was actually, this was the lowest. I said it was Club Next. This is even lower. 58 QBR. Ugh. That's a 58 QBR. That is kind of rough for Drew Allar here. So, not great. Wins above average, 0.069. Not terrible for in the couple games he played. I believe that was probably higher last season, but I thought this guy had legitimately Ben Roethlisberger type of potential, and I just saw him choke away too many games for Penn State when the lights were the brightest, and you can literally see it on your screen happening. I felt like every game-sealing interception that he threw was predictable, and we'll get into more of those. But next gen NFL Combine stats here. Production score 69, which is 6th in the class. Athleticism score 73, which is 9th in the class. And total score 72, which is 9th in the class. So Combine has him 9th. I have him 8th in my quarterback rankings, so kind of on par there. Strengths. So let's get into the strengths here. Physically imposing. Physically huge, massive guy. One of the biggest quarterbacks in the class physically. He can throw the farthest deep ball, like I said, probably the strongest pure arm in just throwing a ball forward. However, he's got some wild inaccuracies with throwing the ball. Maybe the least accurate of the 15 quarterbacks here as well. So another strength is he won a lot of games at Penn State, and he played in a lot of big games at Penn State. So I do think the Big Ten was the best conference over the past few seasons. So he has played the best teams. He's played the best defenses. He's beaten some of the best defenses. He's also lost some of the best defenses like Notre Dame and Oregon's this past year. But he did win a lot of games, and 26-9 is still a very good record as a starter, and was at 35 career starts, so that passes the bar. And like I said, if you just look at this guy physically, you might take him with the 1st overall pick. So never know. Weaknesses. This is what we're getting into. The terrible footwork that leads to inaccuracy. So footwork's not good. He's got to get that right in the pocket. I feel like he's had bad footwork since his sophomore year, and it's gotten no better. So got to get with a coach who can help him improve that and really work on that and get that right for him, because I do think that could truly make all the night and day difference for some of his accuracy standpoint. So this leads to some very head-scratching interceptions that he has thrown in the past. Very, very head-scratching ones. That everybody kind of will go to Twitter and then make fun of 20 minutes later. So you know the throws I'm talking about. You've seen the games. You've watched them. We don't need to get into them, but it's happened time after time. And this is the final weakness, which that all leads to that. He has collapsed in the biggest games, in the biggest moments, every single time. I continued to put my faith in Drew Allar getting it done in a big game and against a really good defense against the best team, and he just could not do it. It felt like I just put my faith in that too much, and eventually I need to see you win a big game. we talk about winning at the highest level and elevating others around you. That's the part I'm talking about here. Drew does not do that. Drew did not do that at Penn State. I know he won a lot of games. I know their teams were stacked and they were loaded, that they were just dominating some of the opponents they faced. But I'm talking the Michigans of the world, the Ohio States of the world, the Oregons of the world, the Notre Dames of the world. Against those teams, he was legitimately awful. And just go back and watch the tape. You watch him against bad teams, he dominates. You watch him against good teams, not so much. That's a big concern for me. Ideally, I almost want the opposite when they dominate the top competition. I just want to see a guy rise up, and I had the faith in Drew all the way up until this moment, and that's why I had to I had to personally jump ship on him as an evaluator. But I am well aware that some team probably in the second or third round is going to see him and be like, yeah, we should probably take a chance on Drew Allar. Let's get him in the building. So I'm well aware that's going to happen, and it won't shock me at all. But here is my personal NFL projection outlook for Drew Allar. I have a 7th round grade on him. I wouldn't draft him, but I think he's going to go. I think he will get drafted on day 2. I wouldn't take him to the 7th round if I'm really just kind of itching for a quarterback there. Like I said, team fits, Browns. He's from Cleveland. That's why I still say he would be the Cleveland Browns quarterback today if he came out last year. He's from Medina, Cleveland, Ohio. Browns and Steelers are the 2 fits I have. Steelers, I wouldn't take him till like 7th round, obviously. Browns, again, 7th round, but I would argue just let Shedeur develop. But my player comp for him, Penn State fans aren't going to like this one, but it's Christian Hackenberg. I'm sorry. He's Christian Hackenberg 2.0. I don't really see much of a difference because they have the same stature, same physical traits, same body, kind of had the same careers at Penn State, kind of had the same numbers, kind of the same seasons, kind of always left a lot to be desired, kind of disappointed a little bit, but have the pro makings, kind of have the pedigree, the looks of a pro quarterback, but just can't put it all together on the field. That's why I got Christian Hackenberg, who was the Jets drafted quarterback from Penn State, who never even played a snap for them. So I'm hoping that's not true, Drew. I want success for you. I'm wishing you well. I hope you prove me wrong. If you're out there, I want you to prove me wrong, because I at one time believed in you and believed you could have been like Ben Roethlisberger. So that's the variance there. You got like Ben Roethlisberger, Joe Flacco, or you got Christian Hackenberg. Drew Allar, the ball is in your hands. No pun intended.